Hello all, welcome to the Web Application Challenges section on Pentester Academy. In this video, I will show you the solution for challenge 14, which is HTTP traffic file carving. Now this is a very interesting challenge, so please pay very close attention. Let me jump right in. Now, if you open the http-forensics2.pcap file, this is pretty much what you would probably see. And let's go ahead. And if we scroll down, we see a bunch of post requests coming in. Now, we've learned that the best way to handle all of this is to use TCP extract, right? So let's jump right in. Make the challenge 14, copy desktop, http forensics2.pcap into challenge 14. Now use TCP extract just as we did before with the -f option. Ton of stuff being thrown out in here. And interestingly, most of these are HTML, GIF, etc. There seem to be two zip files in here. Let me try and extract them. 77 and 78.zip, as you can clearly see. And if you notice, we seem to get an error saying there is something wrong. Again, gives me an error. So really, this is one example where well-known tools fail. And in Pentester Academy, this is really something I want to hammer again and again and again, which is relying completely on your tools is a bad idea, right? So if tools fail, you would need to go ahead and be the tool. So this is what we are going to look at right now. So I've opened this pcap file up. Now after I inspect for some time, I see a lot of post requests which says upload_file API.php. That's the PHP file it seems to be posting to. So let me do the following. Let me actually go ahead and add a filter for post requests, right? So that I can see all of them in a single location. So request method post, apply as filter selected. For some reason the not has come in. So I can see a bunch of requests in here. Let me scroll a bit to the right. Okay, so I actually see a bunch of them going to this specific URL, upload_file API. So the very first one seems to be definitely a file upload, and we can clearly see the data and everything which is being pushed in as well. And the second one also seems to be a post, and this says do get links &name blah 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 XAC. Okay, and the site seems to be speedyshare.com. Interesting. Let me go ahead and open that site up. This is going to be a long video, guys, right? I'd like to do the solution absolutely step by step, so you'd have to bear with me. Okay, so what was that site's name? Speedyshare.com, right? So here is speedyshare.com. Seems to be a simple file upload website. Looks like I can pretty much upload any file. So let's say digest.pcap. and it would end up uploading the file and then basically showing me the link. So if you analyze the Wireshark traffic, what we would find is the second post request actually contains the file name in the ampersand name variable, which is there in here, right? XAC. So which means this is the actual data, and after that the next one is the file name which is contained. Now we could go ahead and use Wireshark to do this. I'll leave this as an exercise to you. Try uploading a file to Speedy Share. Look at the post request and look at the next post and see if you can identify the file name as it's being sent to Speedy Share servers. Okay, so what this really means is this is an upload, this contains the file name. Again, this is an upload, this contains a file name. You can ignore the OCSP requests. Again, this is an upload, this contains the file name, an upload and a file name. So basically there seem to be 4 files in here which are being uploaded, right? Fantastic. Now let's try and see what's in here. So let's follow TCP stream, and we can clearly see a PNG being sent. This one is actually via the form submission, which means the file being uploaded. Here is all that file data. And if you notice, this is like a start marker, and the exact same value goes ahead and marks the end of the data. And then you have a bunch of things in here. We can clearly see the XAC, the file name in here as well. So that's the first one, XAC, right? We should probably write that down somewhere. The file we are looking at right now is named XAC. Okay, so I am just interested on the client side because that's where the file is getting uploaded. So let me just select that. And this is all the data sent by the client. And here is our file data which we need to extract, right? So I'm going to select raw, which is the default one anyway, and save this inside our folder. So inside the root folder, let's go into challenge 14 and save this one here. And let me call this XAC, or rather basically XAC dump, right? Because this isn't the file, it's a dump. Or making it even more simpler, dump XAC, dump-XAC. So here is challenge 14, dump-XAC. Save it in here. Now our task is going to be to extract this part in here and put it out into a file which we will use later. Remember to use raw so that all the bytes are getting stored. If you use something else, you may not find the non-printable characters being saved properly, right? Okay, so I have dump-XAC. I would like to extract this part out into the file, which is the part which is really pretty much in here. These 2 lines, this one here and this one here, right? And we clearly know that after this we have our delimiter, right? The /r/n, and here again /r/n before this part in here, which is just the HTTP header delimiters. We kind of go in here. Now just ensure you have a hex editor installed called hexedit on your system, and just do an apt get install hexedit in case you don't have it. I'm going to open this file in hexedit. Looks like some small problem in the saving of the file name. Okay, so we have hexedit. Okay, So here is our file. Let's scroll down. And really, here is the binary data which we are interested in, right? From this part onwards, just after this in here. So we need to look for the delimiter /r/n in the same line. And basically, this is nothing but 0D, 0A, and again 0D, 0A, right? That's the ASCII value of /r/n. Let's verify that. Do a man ASCII to see the ASCII table. And as you can clearly see in here, carriage return /r is OD and /n is OA, right? Fantastic, proved. So here we have OD OA followed by another OD OA, and everything after that from this point on to the next OD OA combination is something we require. Now the way in which we can select this in HexEdit is really very simple. Do a quick man HexEdit. You'd find that to set a mark to begin copying, it's Control space. Let's go back in here. Let me hit Control space. And now I'm selecting all of this data up to the next OD OA. Let's see where that is. Here you go, right? It's basically up to OE. After that you have our OD OA. Now I would like to copy this, and again referencing the man page, to copy is escape W. So let me go back in here, escape W, it's copied. Now I want to save this inside a new file and paste into a file as escape Y. So I go back in here, type in escape Y, asks me for the file name. I'm going to call this one XAC because now we are actually putting it inside the file. Let me exit. Okay, so the first one is now done. Okay, so now let's look at the next file, or rather the next message. I can actually go back in here and select the post, apply. So the first pair is done. Now let's go ahead and do the next pair. Right click, follow TCP stream. Okay, here is the next pair. And this is, as you can see, for XAB, right? That is the file name. And here is the part in between which we need to extract. Right? So let's go ahead and save this. And just to remind myself, this is XAB. So let's save this as dump-xab. Go back in here. So you can see the dump-xab. Let's actually again use our good old friend HexEdit to open this file. Go down there. There it is on this line. And here are our OD, OA, OD, OA. From here on is where we need. Control space. Start selecting everything till the next OD, OA. There you go. And just to remind ourselves, now to copy this, it's basically escape W, and to paste it into a file, it's escape Y. So here goes escape W, escape Y, and in this case the file name is XAB. So Control C. Now let's go back in there and do the third one. As you can clearly see, it's also a game of patience, so never lose patience. Let's go back in here, follow TCP stream, entire conversation. Again, just the client sending the file is what we are interested in. And this seems to be XAD. Interesting. And here is where we have our binary data for XAD. Let me go ahead and save this into a file. We call this dump-xad. Let's go back in here. Hexedit dump-xad. Scroll down below. Find our friend's ODOA again. Here is my OD, here is my OA. The next one onwards, control space, select all of this till the next ODOA. There we go. Just before the next ODOA, as you can clearly see. Escape W and then escape Y. And this would be XAD. Okay, now let's go to the last one. Apply. Here is the last one. Right click, follow TCP stream. And this is XAA, as you can clearly see in here, right? XAA. Let's just look at the client side and let's save it as dump-xaa. Let me go back in here, hexedit dump-xaa. Here is my ODOAs. Up to the next ODOA. Escape W, escape Y, XAA. Fantastic. So now we have all these 4 files, XAA, XAB, XAC, XAD. Now interestingly, people who've used a bit of Linux will immediately identify that these seem to be in a formation which typically is created when you use the split utility on Linux, right? So when you go ahead and use split with the number of chunks, this is typically how it would look like. So to give you an example, I could do a quick split of the http forensics.pcap file and actually give the number of chunks to be, let's say, what I'm afraid is this may overwrite. So let me create a temporary directory inside. Copy http forensics inside that temporary directory. Let's go in there and then let's use the split utility, giving it an option for 4 chunks. -n to an ls, and if you notice, the different chunks created are XAA, XAB, XAC, XAD in succession. So this is exactly what this is. So we need to concatenate all these files pretty much in raw mode. So simple way would be just to use the cat utility and go ahead and say file dump, right? Just a file dump. the best way to figure out the file format is really to use the file utility. So file underscore dump basically tells us that this is a zip archive. So let me just rename it to file underscore dump.zip, though it doesn't really matter, but fair enough. Now let me use unzip to see. Woo! So it went ahead and deflated it. A directory was created, split-file. Inside that there is a pass file, and there you go, right? The password is now cleanly visible. Now, even though it was a zip file, given the small amount of data in here, what you would actually notice is that this password file's contents were also there inside the packet in plain text. So if you basically went ahead and took the second packet, if I remember, or rather the second file, you would actually end up finding the passphrase in here. Can you see that? I think it's the same one, 12ws. Yep, that's the one, right? So this is a rare case in which, compression didn't make sense given such a small file anyway. So probably that's the reason why zip didn't do anything apart from just put the file inside. However, in a very large file, you would not be able to see any pattern or any string inside the zip file while you are actually sending it, right? Larger the file, lesser the probability, because better decompression in most cases. Okay, this also shows that, just by zipping something, it's not that, you're obfuscating it in any way. Depending on the size of the file and its contents, you may see very interesting stuff. Like in this case, there was pretty much no compression. And we can even see the actual file name and the path, right? split-file/pass. Of course, if you use some sort of a zip file analysis utility, you could probably look at a lot more things as well, right? Okay, fantastic. So hopefully this video was fun. I know it's a long video, but this is how you can do file carving pretty much manually once you understand how file uploads and all those are laid out inside the HTTP packet. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you like this and other things in Pentester Academy, I would really appreciate and be thankful if you can go ahead and recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the InfoSec community. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you.